Canvas Training. Learn and grow.
Today's topic, which is formula fields. So guys, formula fields, how we'll be proceeding with this particular topic, the approach that we'll be taking will be little different. So I'll just explain you a brief about formula fields using the deck over here, and then we can later focus on the actual to-do part directly in the Salesforce org. So what happens is formula fields and validation rules. First, we'll be talking about the formula fields. So for example, there is some calculation that has to be done. Okay, you created an object called product, you listed a particular product over there, and now there are taxes that have to be calculated on it, because the final price, you decided a price of say $100, but again, that is not the final price that the person pays. That is not the maximum retail price. So sometimes it happens that okay, the amount that you have quoted is excluding taxes, and then over and above that amount you add the taxes. So for example, whatever prices you quote, they are excluding taxes, and after you are through with the purchase that your client wanted to do, you're generating an invoice, and that invoice now needs to have the correct value, the payable amount basically. So how does it happen? Now today, suppose the percentage of taxes that have to be paid is 20%. So there is a calculation that has to be done. Tomorrow there is some other product which has some government exemption being given, so there is a 10% value that has to be added as taxes. So this value can keep on changing, and this calculation is kind of ad hoc that your users have to do on a daily basis. So for such things, what we do is we write a simple formula. So each time the user is not required to do it, he just needs to enter the basic or the preliminary information, and the remaining shall be done automatically. So we just write some kind of formula which will help do some evaluations. The other use of formula fields will come into picture when we have been creating the relationship. What is the purpose of creating the relationship? I understand we are linking two tables, but why is there a hyperlink required? So if I go back to my Salesforce org, if I open any of the related, so if account is related to contact, or say contact is related to account, I open the contact. Why is the linking required in a way that it is a hyperlink? Why not only a text field with the name? Why is this a key, kind of a key relationship that is given over here? So the purpose of this particular stuff is information sharing at a later stage. Okay, so whenever you connect two records, so they are always connected, or whenever you create a relationship between two objects, it is always created with a view in the mind that there will be some information sharing that will be happening in between. So what exactly we are doing here, what we are trying to achieve here is just kind, we have, since we have created the relationships, why not pass on some information from parent to the child record? So over here, now suppose we are on a particular object, and the requirement is, now I'm on a contact, I want to see the account industry over here. What usually happens is my sales users, they have to check the industry, so they again and again keep on opening this record in a new tab, then they go over here, then they check the industry, and then they go back and start working on the contact. So this is like just a kind of time, 5 clicks, which are absolutely not required. So what I need them to do is that okay, you can have the account, the related account, there is a field called related account industry that I want to create, which will be showing the industry of this associated account. So this is all possible because we have created relationships. So relationships will further promote information sharing. So if there is any info that we want coming in from the parent, or if there is any calculation we want to be done through any value which is there on the parent, so we can do that using the formula fields. So that is one part of the formula fields. We'll just go through the deck first. So how do we create the formula fields? What are the properties of the formula fields? I'll be discussing about them, and I'll be explaining you each one of them in detail. Yep. So now since we are writing a formula, what will that formula return? So formula field is itself a return type, itself a data type, just like text, number, lookup, master detail. So the formula is also a return type, a data type, but overall, like the formula that you are writing, it might be, it's a calculation of two numbers. So for example, the percentage calculation using the taxes. So there's $100 product with $20 taxes, the total amount is $120. So number is being returned, or a currency is being returned. Similarly, there can be a due date calculation logic. So give me a date 5 days ahead of today as the default due date. So I want you to create a field which is called the default due date, which should always be 5 days ahead of the date whenever the record is created. So suppose record is created today on 16th, it should auto populate 21st of June over there. So again, a return type of date that I need. So these are the return types that are available whenever we talk about a formula. So we can either create a checkbox formula, we can create a text formula, we can create a number formula, or we can display some value as a percentage, date time, or currency. Apart from these, there is nothing as such available. Whenever you are writing a formula, your formula should be written in a way that it returns any one of these kind of values, and accordingly you'll have to make a selection while we are creating. So these are the 7 data types that can be returned using the formulas that we will be writing. What all we can do, what all we cannot, we will be checking all that a little later. There are a few functions that we will be talking about while we go through the formula fields. There are a lot of them actually, but these are the some important ones that you need to know about. All of these are also not very important, but like the real ones that you will be using many times, like rejects, is pick val, is null, is blank, and if. So these are very important to know. So these are some that we'll be practicing also. I'll be showing you demos on like how to write different formulas. Plus this formula writing we'll be doing for a very long time, like for the next at least 4 or 5 classes. So this is something that we'll be taking in different formats, in different examples that we'll be picking it up. But again, formula writing is very crucial, and it, since like so many processes depend on it, so like the more you practice, the more you get comfortable with these. Okay, and how exactly it will happen is I'll be sharing you some blog links wherein there are good examples given for the different formula fields, and as per the level, suppose there are 20 basic formula field questions given, attempt a few of them, and then there are some intermediate level questions, say 10, 15, at least create 5, 6. So just what happens basically is the more complicated formula you start writing, okay, the basic ones becomes like automatically they start becoming easier. So this is like any other problem, the more hardships you face, the remaining part gets easier. But over here what happens is the complicated formula is a kind of formula wherein you are using multiple functions from here. So for example, you are using is pick val, you're using is blank, you're using and, if, case, all in one formula. So it's just like instead of creating 5 different formulas in which I would have asked you to practice is null, is blank, and, if, and case. Instead of creating 5 different formulas for practicing this, you just created one formula which was highly complicated and it used all 5 of them. So although the effort is more initially, but it helps you in the long run. And why is formula writing so important? Again and again, I'm telling you, whatever topics we have discussed and we are going further with, a lot of them use formula writing. So formula fields is one, validation rules, workflows, approval processes, process builder, all of them will be utilizing the same formula writing concept. So you just need to be aware of, and you need to be confident of, like whenever you're writing a formula. And the more you practice, the more you get comfortable with the formula writing part. So as I told you, we have relationships and we want some information to be passed. Like for example, contact is associated to account and I want to see the account industry on the contact record. I can do that. Or suppose there is some percentage of commission that I am capturing on a particular account. So my sales user is eligible to get a commission of 1% from this account. So whenever there is any order being created on this account, automatically 1% gets added to it by default. So for some account, it can be 1%. For the remaining account, it can be 2%, 3%. It depends. And so the formula fields, it will do the calculation automatically. User need not worry about it that he goes on the account, he checks that value, and then he does some calculation. System will do it on your behalf. So all such things are only possible when we have information sharing between the related objects. So over here, you can go up to 25 levels deep. Over here, we have this 10 relationships away, but this was later like given a flexibility. So you can go up to 25 relationships deep if you want. Initially, you get the 10 levels deep option, but if you ask Salesforce, a maximum of up to 25 levels you can navigate, like from contact to account, then his account, then his user. So this is the flow. From one, you started from a child, then his parent, then his parent, then his parent, then his parent, and this chain can go up to 25 levels deep. So that is the power of using a formula field, and this is all configurable, so you need not worry about anything. Let's get back to org and see some basic stuff. So we talked about a requirement wherein simply we'll be just getting the account industry over here because we need it for some other references or some purposes. So what I'll do is I'll go to the fields, I'll create a new formula field. So just go to the custom fields and relationship section, click on new. We have a value called formula over here. Just select that, click on next. Field label shall be something like account industry. This is going to display a text. Now you see there, here is a box. It might be some of you get landed to this simple formula box. So simple formula, the only difference between simple and advanced formula is simple formula works on the object on which you are creating the formula field. So you are creating the formula field on the contact object. So it will primarily take into consideration, or it will primarily work with the contact object. I don't want that. So I switch over to the advanced formula box. And it's always recommended to learn the formula writing from the advanced formula box, because in validation rules you have this simple formula, advanced formula choice. In the remaining you will be only having this advanced formula box. So it's much better if you get comfortable using advanced formula at an earlier stage. So I come over here, there is a box in which I have to write my formula, and my formula says I am on a contact record. I am creating a field which will be getting the information from the related account. How do I do it? I click on insert field. You see contact is selected with the arrow, and these, if I just see it in detail, birthday, clean status, contact owner, these are all fields that are on the contact object. That means contact with the icon means this is the object and these are the fields for it. So I come up over here, I go to the account record, and now I can see there is one field called account ID. You can see account ID, which is a lookup field. The other one is again with the arrow. So as I told you, we have up to 25 levels deep that I can go from one parent to the other parent to the third parent to the fourth parent. And how do I do this? So this is for that chaining protocol. So I go to the account, but I do not want to chain it further. I just want to see what is the industry over here. So I come up over here, I'll scroll down to industry field. This is the industry. I click on insert. So this is a small formula that we have written, which references a field from the parent field, which is the account, and the related field on the account is industry. Let's go ahead and save it. And now you can see over here, I clicked on next. So there is an error that is coming up. Field industry is a pick list field. So pick list is not a text, because you have seen whenever I come up over here and I try to create a new field, text is different and pick list is a different option which is available. So pick list is one option which is available, and text is the remaining options that we have. So Salesforce treats text and pick list as separate. So how do we use it? So whenever just remember this thing, whenever you are using a pick list field in the formula field, remember to enclose it within the text bracket. What it does is it just simply converts a pick list field into a text, a normal text. So this is what we have done, and I click on next. I will make it visible for all initially, and then I will save. So there is a short formula that we have written and a small field that we have created, which is called account industry. And as you can see over here, this field is listed down here, and whatever the industry I have chosen on this particular account, it will get displayed over here automatically. So if I change the industry over here to something else, for example, I change it to apparels, save, I come back over here, just refresh. You see the account has also the info on this particular field is also refreshed. A few more properties of the formula field. I see a lock icon over here, but the field is at least displaying. I click on the edit button, the field also disappears. So the UI part is easy to understand and it's very easy to do. So that is the reason we keep it on a low priority at a lower stage. It will be more like a chill time or a cool down time. So currently we are going at a particular pace, but I obviously understand everyone will not be able to match with it or everyone will not be happy with it. So we come in between with a cool down phase. So cool down phase, these topics come in like page layouts. It's pretty easy. It's simple drag and drop. Even if you do not practice, you open it after 10 days, you'll be able to do it. So that is how we have like the stuff planned. Okay. So getting back to our topic over here. So if I go back to my contact, I created a simple field right now, which is having nothing but the industry being populated from the account. Over here, there is nothing getting populated. If I go to the account, the industry is blank. If I select a particular industry, go back, just refresh, the value appears automatically. So this is the beauty, again and again, navigating here, navigating there. All this is not required. And obviously this simple data sharing is also not the exact purpose. This is just an example that I have put up. Like say this simple data sharing will not be an option because of which such a big feature would have been given. So in the real time scenarios, this particular formula field, this will come into picture where there are some day to day life calculations being done and they are wasting the sales users time. If we have some sort of business logic that has to be executed, for example, I have to see whether or not this case gets closed within 5 days. So suppose there is a job posting that I have created. I just want to see over here whether or not this job posting was closed within 5 days. So I can have a status over here, open and close, and I want a checkbox over here. If from the created date, it was created on 28/4. So from the created date, if within 5 days its status was marked as closed, that checkbox should get checked. Otherwise, it remains open and my report shows that there is a job posting which was open for more than 5 days at a stretch. So in the real time business scenarios like these, we'll be using the formula fields. And over here, we'll just be practicing more and more about the different kind of fields that we can do over here with. So now, for example, I ask you to create a due date field over here. So this jobs due date over here, it should be something like created date plus 5 days, I would say. So if today is 16, 21 should populate over here. I have 17 today. So let's see. Let's create a field over here, which will be more like due date calculation field. So I go back to the formula. I click on next. I'll select it as date, the field label as due date. So as I told you, the expected due date is 5 days ahead of the today's date. So what do? Is I go to here, job, created date, okay, and 5 days ahead. So I just simply do a +5 here. So whenever this record is created, +5 days should be the due date. This is the business scenario that I asked you to build. So today is 17th here in India. So it should be having additional 5 days and then the due date should be coming up. So this is some sort of calculation. I'll just click on check syntax to be sure. So yes, there are no syntax errors found. Next, next, and save. So you see, if I go back and I refresh, I just created a new field which is called the due date field. So whatever the created date was, it just added 5 days to it. So 28th of April was the date. It changed to 3rd of May. So if I create something today, let's see how it looks. Required check 111, job title, demo job, pay bill, okay, max pay 1000, role analyst, and I save the record. So you see, after 5 days, so today is 17th here in India, it auto populates 22nd of June over here. So this is a very basic stuff that we did. So a due date calculation, again, if there are any mathematical calculations that you have to do like plus minus or something like that, so again you will be utilizing the same kind of logics as I have just used over here. So I added days to the created date field. You can add and you can calculate percentages. Yes, you can validate the format that you're doing the stuff in. So that will be a part of the validation rules. If you want to add a format, like if you want to change the output, so currently it's 22/06/2020. US doesn't follow this format. So you have month MMDD YYYY. So if you want it to be 06, 22 and 2020, then like although it will be automatically done for you because of your locale that you would have chosen, but still if it doesn't, then you can alter the output and display it in a particular format. You can do that. So it picks up from the locale that we have chosen. So if you go to my settings, personal advanced user settings and edit the record, scroll down at the bottom of the stuff. So over here you see there is a locale that you have selected. So my locale is currently selected as Germany. If you have it set to US, so Germany uses this India format, which is DDMMYYYY. But if I change it to US, for example, English United States, and time zone, say I put it for New York, it is -4:30, isn't it? -4, sorry. And I save it. You see the date format changed automatically. So based on your locale, it will pick up the format of the date it has to display. But still, if you want to make some changes, either you can change the locale of the user, otherwise by default it should be coming in the correct locale, or it can be American is working for Germany. It can be a scenario, isn't it? So if you want, you can display this value in a particular format as well. Any such example that we want to take further? So like we have a due date that has been calculated over here, and say there is a max payment field over here. So now suppose we want, or like let's see applicants, if we have some fee structure scheduled over here. Yep, so there is a discount of $50 given here on applicants. On jobs, we have a maximum payment field. So let's do one thing on the job applicant, which is a junction object. Let's calculate a calculation field that what is the actual amount that has to be paid. So I go to the view field section. I select a formula. And what I want to do is payable amount. So I've created something like that, and since it's an amount field, so I can either go ahead with a currency or a number, whichever I like. So I'll go ahead with currency, keep the decimal places to 2. So what I want to do over here is I have a discount field on applicant, and then I have a on job, I have the maximum amount that a user can be charged with. Okay, so I want this value minus the discount that this guy is eligible for, and then the amount payable is calculated. So I click on insert field. I go to the job record first because it has the fees structure. What is the maximum fees that a guy can pay? So I come over here, and then there is this field called max pay. I select max pay, insert minus the discount. So I selected minus, insert field, and I come over here. I select the discount, and discount is given over here as a percentage. No, it's given as an amount 50. That's fine. But if it is given as a percentage, so how do you do it? So if it is a percentage and you have to like subtract it, then you'll have to do off this value, find the value, actual monetary value of that percentage of discount, and then you deduct it. But currently, since we are having it as amount only, 50 is given over here. Obviously, it's not a percentage. So I'll be using the amount directly. So I just click on check syntax just to validate if everything looks fine. Yes, everything looks fine. I click on next, and save. So I just created a new field. So if I go to the new job applicant, I select one applicant over here, say Zach. I do nothing. I just click on the save button. So there is a job applicant record which has been created under it, and you see the calculation that is being done. Focus on this field and payable amount and how it has been calculated. Zach is the applicant who gets a discount of $50. The job opening that he has applied for is job number 16. So if I go over here, so the maximum payment that can be taken is 1000 USD. So the payable amount becomes 1000 minus the discount. The discount is $50. So $950 comes over here automatically. So this is some very basic formula writing stuff that we just practice. More you will have to see and more you'll have to practice. We'll keep it slow for now. I know this shall be too much for some of you to absorb, but it is fine. Just take your time, feel comfortable with the formula part. Anyhow, it's a long journey ahead and we'll be taking a lot of formula writing concepts with us. Okay, then thank you for joining in today. Have a great evening. See you guys. Thank you.
Jan Bass Training. Learn and grow.